Good afternoon. I'm Carl Garth, and welcome to our holiday edition of the Champion Chat with Councillor Alison Champion. Feliz Navidad, Alison. Happy Hanukkah. Merry Christmas. How are you today?
I'm fantastic. Thank you, Carl. It's lovely to be here, and it's a little bit warmer than it has been lately.
Well, and that's Christmas is supposed to be snow, although I did hear Jesus was born in a desert, so I really haven't reconciled that one yet.
Yeah, haven't worked it out either.
But
When
we
you
got
get
our
that, you get back to me, okay?
but we got our funny red hats with the little bouncy balls at the end.
That's it. Yeah,
Uh,
and my
so,
earrings. I've got my Christmas earrings.
oh, fantastic. Well, I don't. So look, as we mentioned earlier, this is the holiday or festive season edition of the Champion Chat.
Mhm.
Geez, Alison, the year has gone so quickly. It's hard to believe that we've come around to our holiday edition already.
It happens every year, Carl. We say it every year.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, looking back at what has actually happened this year, what have been some of the highlights for you?
Yeah, it's actually been a great year. So despite earlier in the year, we were still in Victoria under restriction numbers. We didn't have lockdowns, but we're under restriction numbers, and we finally moved away from that. So by the end of this year now, we do have a lot more freedoms than we had earlier in the year, and certainly the last 2 years. So there are a few great things that have happened this year. Look, starting with Lower Plenty Primary School, earlier like last year, asked for a raised pedestrian crossing on Prosperity Road. So that was actually built, created, installed, whatever word you'd like to use. Certainly that was one of the first projects this year that was completed. So that's been done, and it's great. It's halfway up the street, and it's right at the entrance of the school, and it allows for children and their parents to walk safely across the road. And it also just reduces the traffic speed coming down that road, which was the key feature for that. So that was completed. A project that's very close to my heart since 2009 is completing the works around Montmorency South Primary School. So that's a project that was started around 2009 in my head. And over the years was part of it was completed by 2014. So there was a pedestrian island at the top of Reichelt Avenue and Grand Boulevard, that intersection there, that was completed, along with our Adam. We say Adam. Adam's the crossing supervisor there, has been forever. The Wombat crossing, or the raised crossing, to help him, and some parking spaces there at the front of the school. So that was part one of the project that was completed well before I was on council in February 2014. And the remainder of it was actually completed in March this year, 2022. And that included resurfacing the car park opposite the school on Grand Boulevard with a kiss and drop space, and relining those car parking spaces and bollards to protect the natural environment in that space. So that was done, as well as more car parking spaces on Reichelt Avenue at sort of the southwestern end of the school, as well as a very much wanted footpath along Buena Vista Drive.
Mm-hmm.
So that's finally completed, March. So very excited. Also things like the Belfield Community Hub in Olympia Ward, that was finally opened. It's beautiful space. So please feel free to, at least go online, have a look at what we've got there, and then pop down and have a little look. So that's our community hub for the space there in Belfield. And a couple of things a little bit closer to home. I actually learnt from our governance team this year that this podcast is one of a kind. There's no other local councillor in Victoria who does what we do, Carl. So that was a privilege to hear that. So we're on a little bit of a learning curve this year in council for that. And it's just a case of I just keep in touch with our officers, our governance officers, to make sure that we're okay, we're on track. And one thing that's very personal, I actually was asked to present, as in name, our new Australian citizens at our citizenship ceremonies, which happen about 4 times a year. The first being usually in January, and then dotted throughout the year. We had a lot of residents who want to become Australian citizens and who applied. And we had some extra ceremonies this last year in 2022. And in May, I was asked to read the names. And about 5% of the names are Anglo-Saxon, and the remainder are from a variety of other languages and other countries in the world. So I had the privilege of being asked to present those names, and I've done, I think, about 4 events so far. That will continue through into next year in 2023. With the feedback that, Alison, you actually pronounced my name correctly.
That's always a big one.
That's a big one. And I get that because I was born with a Spanish surname. And for many, many years, many people still can't pronounce it. My mother still has the name, obviously, and people still can't pronounce it. And in actual fact, it's just exactly how it's written. And then my married name was Montenegrin. And it's actually pronounced the same way it's spelled. It's actually not hard, but people, and it's only 8 letters long. And it's just, again, it goes back to break it down, break the word down into syllables and pronounce the syllables, and that's what you've got. Yeah. So because I understand what it's like to have my name pronounced incorrectly for so many years, I'm very conscious about how to pronounce these names. So I'm given the names a few days earlier, and I actually practice.
and also, I think it's a very special day for people who are becoming citizens of a country that they've chosen to go to.
Absolutely. And one's name is so important for an individual. And unfortunately, over the many years, I hear, I've heard people say, oh, look, I don't really understand how to pronounce it, but it starts with A. Or I don't know. I think it sounds like this. And it's very dismissive. And on a personal level, I actually find it discourteous because our names are so important to us. It's the most beautiful sound. If you want someone's attention, you say their name. Yeah. And if you say it correctly, they will pay attention to you. So yes, it is a very special day for these people. They have chosen to become citizens of a country that they weren't born in. They come to because it is a special time for them. It is also a choice to come to a country that they believe is better for them than where they have come from. And that concept's been going on for decades. Yeah. Decades and decades. So it is respectful. It is a special time for them. And I'm so very aware of that.
Well, I can't say I've got a long name, 4 letters and 5 letters. Mine's pretty easy. But when they're both first names, it's amazing the amount of times I get called Garth instead of Carl.
I did that. I know I did that to you once. And then I went, oh, no, it's Mr. Garth. Sorry, Mr. Garth.
There we go. So if I was to get you to look back at one particular thing this year, what would you be most proud of?
Honestly, it's pronouncing our new Australian citizens' names correctly. Good. And I get that feedback. Wow, you said my name correctly. That is fantastic. Thank you so much. And that means a lot to me. So you know what? It's actually that. It's
the personal touch.
Yeah, the personal touch. It's the impact on these people, these new citizens, on them. And that leads to, I'd like to think that leads to an additional level of trust.
Right. Well, look, as we said before, Alison, we are coming into the festive season. Unfortunately, over the last couple of years, things haven't been easy for Australians, and many of them are now doing it a little bit tough, especially with the current cost of living. But what's always heartening in Australia is that Australians really do look to help each other out, especially during this period and leading up to this period. Could you take us through some of the things that you've seen that make you proud to be Australian when you see people, dipping into their pockets to help other people out, and certain charities or things that you believe that you like to get behind because your belief in what they're doing is something good for the community?
So if we look at a lot of people in our communities volunteer, they give their time. And they give their time because they believe in the cause. So at the moment, there's a lot of conversation around urban food strategy, and there are a lot of meetings being held and conversations. And I've been participating very recently in a local conversation about the urban food strategy. There's going to be a lot more of that coming up. And the idea of that is it's not just about the food, it's about the connection with the neighbourhoods that are involved in growing food. Other things such as, you mentioned charities. There are so many. There are so many charities around. I personally support 4. And I support the 4 because there is a connection with myself, my family. And the thing I learn about Australians and charities in general, we are actually very generous.
Very.
We do provide money. You know, we're generous with our money, regardless of our own circumstances, and we're very generous with our time. When I think about that, look, on Christmas Day, and I will touch on this a little bit more when you talk about the activities, we do have 2 of our councillors supporting our Christmas Day event, which is lunch, a special Christmas lunch. There are 2 of our councillors involved in this, and there are other people in the community volunteering their time on Christmas Day to make sure as many people are fed as possible and have a beautiful Christmas Day. And for me, those people are the people who are recipients of that event. I might refer to them as orphans. They don't have the traditional family or connections or neighbours. Yeah, they are on their own. So that's something that we do as well, very generously give our times on those kind of days. So that's, again, another Banyule Council initiative. So coming up to things like the community events that we have that are free. They're free. There are so many community events that are going on in December and January throughout the school holidays that anyone can attend if it suits them, if it's appropriate for them. We do advise there are some age groups that a particular event might be more appropriate for, but generally they're all free, and some of them you need to book, and some of them you don't.
I might just jump in. Thanks for sharing on about the charities. It's something that's a little dear to my heart, was because growing up, there was one year that we were doing it very tough, and Salvation Army helped us get through that Christmas, and so it's always stuck with me. So they're always one of the ones I support. I love what the Smith family are doing. I saw something else this week with Coles. Now, yes, Coles are a multinational, but the fact that they were going around to some people, and it was through current affair, obviously, that a lot of this had been highlighted, but they went round to these people. There was truckloads of food, vouchers, and just what they did for those people and the change that you could see come over those people. That is the thing that gets to me on a very emotional level in Australia, is when we see people doing it tough and we don't put our hand in our pocket or do these things because we want some sort of reward. The reward is actually seeing somebody taken from the depths of despair into, there's gratitude, there's love, there's appreciation, there's all the good things of the human spirit.
Yep. And it actually is it is essentially a small gesture. Really, it's a small gesture, and that's enough to create that. Yeah, absolutely.
So sorry, I digressed a little there, but yes, please, could you share with us some of those community events, especially some of the ones that might be cultural or free or easy to access?
Mm-hmm. So there are a couple of events that have actually been going on since sort of a couple of months ago, and then through for a longer period of time. So couple of those. So we've got the Finders Keepers Art Scavenger Hunt.
Ooh,
So
sounds interesting.
this is gret.
Did I get a Van Gogh out of that?
No. Iriana does other work.
Yes.
Iriana does other work. So from sort of mid-December. So from mid-December through to the end of December. So Saturday, the 31st of December is the last day for this event. Around 5 o'clock in the evening, there is an artistic scavenger hunt, and we have Iriana, who has created a series of small ceramic pieces.
Mm-hmm.
They're all different. There are about 200 of them.
Wow.
She's created. They're fascinating. She's invested so much time in this. They are actually placed in a box somewhere in Banyule. Somewhere in an open space in Banyule. And there are 200 of them. And you're welcome to go on this hunt. And there is actually a map available on our website for this. And that allows you to go out with, you can go by yourself. You can go with your family or friends or, a group of people you like, or a couple of, just somebody else, a partner, and go and look for these mystery boxes. And you go and find them and you sort of tick them off as you go. And the idea is that it gives some joy, joy of achievement. I'm looking for these boxes. I've got 200 to go and look for and find. And wow, I found one, or I found 50, or I found 200. That's the idea of that. We are asking, you are welcome to take one as a souvenir. Yes. So it's not like you go for a walk and go, I found one, take it, stick it in your bag. Okay, because we need this to last till the 31st of December. So we do ask you to please find it, tick it off, and then leave it. And if there's one that you really like, you can take it with you. So our
people find out a bit more about that one, obviously on the Banyule website. But
yes. Yeah, so that's available there, and our local one of our local artists, Iriana, has created this.
Does Iriana have a website?
She does, and that actually you can find when you go to the Banyule website. You'll be able. There are a couple of links, and one of them says to view the map. So when you click on that button that says view map, it'll come up with Iriana's site.
Okay, so for everybody watching, we'll make sure that the link to the Banyule City Council website is in the copy below, and you'll be able to find Iriana and her website.
Yes, you can. The other event that is ongoing for actually about 12 months is the backyard bird count. Right. So I know many members of our community actually love this. They are involved in this every year. So for those of you who don't, this goes from, again, about mid-December through to towards the end of October next year, 2023. So it's on every week. So what you can do, you're welcome to do, is you download the app. There's an app for this, which you can access again on the council website, on Banyule Council website. And you can enter your sightings. So wherever you sight a variety of birds, you can pop that into the app. This is a combined effort with Banyule, Nillumbik, and Manningham. Banyule, Nillumbik, Manningham councils are all involved in this. And again, it goes through from last October 2022 through to next October 2023. It's ongoing.
So essentially a form of bird bingo.
Sure.
Sorry.
That's okay. I don't know what that is, but that sounds like a fun game. So there are our ongoing ones. We also have, now this is fantastic, our Banyule 100. So this was opened at the beginning of December 2022. It goes through to the 15th of January 2023. So our Banyule 100, again, on our website, I've just got the little card here. So this is our Banyule 100. All right. So this is actually one of our Banyule Youth Services event, and it celebrates our 100 citizens, our young citizens, and those who support our young citizens. So either of those. Lots of stories and photographs which showcase the positive role model that our young people have in or play in our community.
Excellent.
Yeah, so that is absolutely brilliant. It's been going for 11 years, moving into our 12th year. So that actually is showcasing at the Ivanhoe Library and Cultural Hub, all right, upstairs in Loft 275.
Yep.
So that's a fantastic one to go and have a little look at. I mentioned Christmas Day lunch.
Yes,
okay. I did Christmas Day lunch. Now, this is one, A, it's free, and B, bookings are essential. So our Christmas Day lunch is being held at the Olympic Village Exodus community. And Olympic Village, again, we do have a link on our website to take you to Exodus so that you understand a little bit more about it. And it is essentially an organisation based in Heidelberg West that supports our vulnerable people in Heidelberg West, regardless of gender, regardless of age. All right. So Christmas Day lunch is, it's available. Please make a booking for the number of people, and you can either call a number 94577593, or you can actually go online, have a little bit more, see a little bit more information on our website. Councillor Fiona Mitsonikos and Councillor Alita McKern are actually participating in that as servers, not sit down eating. They're actually going to serve. Councillor Alita, I know, does take her family as well. So you can go and see them there too. All right. So they're participating in that.
So, Alison, just with that the Christmas Day lunch, earlier this year, council actually put up $15,000 for non-for-profit groups to be able to provide a Christmas celebration for vulnerable residents. Is this Christmas Day lunch one? I think, yeah, that's fantastic. You know, that A, council are putting money forward towards that, and B, that the not-for-profits have found volunteers and are making use of that money to provide such a great thing for, as you say, people who they may be on their own, they may not have family locally, or friends. So it's great. Bring people together.
Yep, it is. It's fantastic. So that's 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. on Sunday, the 25th of December. Bookings are essential. So if you are interested, please make sure you go to the website or ring the phone number.
So, Alison, I'll get you to pass me that web link as well for the bookings, and we'll also put that below for people. Absolutely.
Yeah, we can do that, definitely. Do you remember growing up, we used to go to the Maya Christmas lights? And you stand in the queue.
Get a good look at that window.
Yeah, okay. We've got our own version in Banyule.
Okay.
It's a little bit different. Again, it's at the Ivanhoe Library and Cultural Hub, our Lego Christmas display.
All right.
That's sitting there. That'll be there again from mid-December through to Sunday, the 8th of January at 5 p.m. Our Lego user group has created a Christmas Lego display in the window of Art Gallery 275. So it's essentially you walk into Ivanhoe Library and you can see it there on the right-hand side. So you can sit there and have a look or walk around and have a little look. So that's the only display they're doing is at the Ivanhoe Library and Cultural Hub. Very exciting. So that's a Lego Christmas display. Animals galore. So for those of you who love animals and insects and fauna, there are two events. There's Bugs Galore and Animals Galore. So Animals Galore is actually on Wednesday, the 18th of January from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And you get to interact with some live animals. And they're essentially a lot of Australian animals. Things like frogs, lizards, birds, possums, there's a python, so forth. So you get to interact with those, and that's obviously supervised. You're not you're not there on your own. And the other, and I mentioned Bugs Galore. Let me just find that. I did put that up. Where are we? Because I did write that down. Bugs Galore, that's a really important one. It's on a different day. Okay, here we go. Bugs Galore is Monday, the 23rd of January. Again, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And we're learning about invertebrates. So where they live, what they eat, how they change, all their transformations, and their, what they do, where they how they survive, and how we can protect them. And a lot of them actually show up in our gardens.
Right.
And then I think, so it's a brilliant education piece. So
where will these two be held?
So these again, this is again at Ivanhoe Library and Cultural Hub at this stage. Yeah. But again, link on the website will be able to give you an idea of where to go. All right. And what to do. Again, it's free. And you can just show up for that one. So any age, there's no age specification for that. There is also, now here we go, there is also child sleeping and settling session, mid-January, Monday the 16th of January from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's online. Okay, so this is a free online session, learn about child sleep patterns,
right,
and various behaviours.
And here's me thinking that we were going to let our children sleep in for 6 hours, but I was going to say, and that's different to any other day because...
Yeah. So again, it is an event that is funded by the Victorian Government Victorian Government Department of Health.
Mm-hmm.
There is a link on the site. Again, go to Banyule events. I just put events up in the top in the search bar, and if you go to the site, you'll see the link on there. There are 3 specific age groups, okay, for different sleeping patterns, and different times in that 4-hour period. So if you pop on the site, you'll be able to see some advice.
Okay.
Where an online session is for some advice about child sleeping and settling. And again, we have mini bikers. Before I get on to our movies, because we do love our movies in Banyule, mini bikers, Tuesday the 10th of January, 9 till 10 a.m. There are 2 sessions, children 2 to 5. Welcome to this one. Show up at Watsonia. So that's actually in the Watsonia, around the Watsonia Library.
Oh, yes. Yep.
Yep. Introducing bike riding from a range for children between 2 and 5. And there are 2 different sessions. Just quietly, I can't ride a bike anymore. I that I fall off a bike. So that would be, I know it's children 2 to 5, but
everyone likes to be on a mini bike.
Everyone likes to be on a mini bike. So the events are for our little kids, our mini bikers. So that will help. You do actually, your parents or an adult, a responsible adult, does need to show up as well. All right. You can bring your own if you want. Bring your own helmet. You can bring your own bike. Helmets are provided though.
Yep.
All right. So that's a really good one. Tuesday, the 10th of January, 9 till 10. And again, movies. So we love our movies in Banyule and our events such as that. So we've got a couple of sessions that we've set up for our community this year in January. On Saturday, the 21st of January, which is actually Councillor Mark's birthday, from 4 till 5, McLeod Village. Okay, our 2 movies are at McLeod Village. Mm-hmm. You just bring a picnic rug. If you want to bring a picnic, you can bring a picnic. McLeod Village also, there are lots of shops there as well if you want to order some food and bring that as part of your picnic. We have 2 movies on that evening, and they're both PG. Okay, they're
the movies are
actually one's G, one's PG. So Paw Patrol the movie,
yes,
and Clifford the Big Red Dog. It's the second movie from 6:30. So that's at McLeod Village on the 21st of January. On the 28th of January, the following week, from 4 to 5:30, we have Spirit Untamed, the movie. So that's a rated G movie. And then we also have Minions, which is the Rise of Gru.
Yes.
Yep, that's rated PG. And they are at Anthony Beale Reserve in St. Helena.
Okay.
Saturday the 28th. So they're available. Again, don't need to book. Show up with your picnic rug and your picnic and just enjoy. So there are a few of our free events that are happening up until the end of January, which is just before school goes back. So I think Saturday, the 28th of January there, that's kind of in there. It's the first weekend kind of back at school. Yeah.
Any cultural festivals that you know of happening in the area over the period?
I don't have a list of those at this stage. If there's anything different apart from our Christian Christmas celebration, I don't have that information. There may be something. If you want to know, I can certainly find out. So if anyone specifically wants to know, is there a cultural event happening over December and January, please feel free to give me a call or send me an email and I'll find out.
Fantastic. Alison, I do notice that one of the things that wasn't mentioned was the Ivanhoe Boulevard lights. I know, again, many people were saddened that during COVID, that was something that wasn't able to go ahead. It's been such a tradition. It's brings a lot of people into the area. And this year it is going ahead. And council are providing some support, but just wondering if you'd like to give us a little bit more detail, please.
I can give you some more detail. So again, this is an item that is on our website if you wanted to go to our website at all, but I can give you a brief outline. Okay. So the Boulevard Christmas lights are going ahead this year. There are some restrictions with time. So from Tuesday, the 20th of December, through to Saturday, the 24th of December from 6:30 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. They're available. Traffic management is supplied by council just to make sure that we have a safe traffic flow for both our local residents and our pedestrians who choose to walk down the boulevard to watch the lights or look at the lights. And look, so we've got some speed limits along the boulevard and they'll be 20 kilometres an hour in that time. There won't be any parking available. Footpaths will be one direction only. There will be bollards and safety tape along the nature strips just to encourage pedestrians to remain on the footpath and the cars to remain on the road. There will be temporary toilet facilities and rubbish bins in the area as well.
Okay. And I believe, obviously, part of that traffic management will be Victoria Police helping out, keeping people safe, etc.
Yeah, and that comes, look, there are always conversations with Victoria Police. So council is always in touch with the police about safety. That is number one priority, and hence the slight variation on a theme with regards to the boulevard lights this year. And we understand that, we've missed them over a couple of years. And it's been, we've been asked by so many residents, why aren't you doing that this year? Why aren't you doing that this year? So it is great that we can come back to providing this again and ensuring this goes ahead. And the focus again is on safety. And so we're just asking everyone, if you want to come along, please feel free. Again, it is a free event and it is available between 6:30 and 11:30 between the 20th to the 24th of December.
Okay. Well, great that it's happening and, look forward to seeing them again this year.
Yeah.
So what other activities, community groups, arts or sports activities do we know of that might be running over the Christmas period as well? Any competitions for children they might be able to, for example, I believe Eltham over the Christmas period, Eltham Wildcats run a basketball tournament?
They do. So the Australia Day, it's the Australia Day long weekend. So we don't actually have that coming up in 2023 because Australia Day is in the middle of the week. But certainly that last weekend in January is usually the Australia Day event. It is the biggest basketball tournament in the Southern Hemisphere, and people come from various countries. It is absolutely fascinating. So not just from, another part of Melbourne, but people come from other states of Australia and they come from other countries to participate in this event. So that's usually the last weekend in January.
And as I understand it, you don't necessarily need to be a team from a basketball club. You could probably get your own team of friends together and put an entry form in?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So a lot of information there for that is certainly available at the Eltham Wildcats website.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other competitions like that for young people during the holiday period? Any cricket competitions or anything, netball?
Anything like that is probably would have been provided by the organisations, not necessarily a council funded or a council supported event. I'd say what you'd probably do, and what I would probably do, is get in touch with the local sporting clubs and find out what events they're holding specifically, and just to see if there's something that you want to participate in or enjoy.
And as the mother of two young men, I'm assuming that you're probably going to be running around a little bit with some of the activities that they want to do this Christmas.
To a point. they're at a point now. So I'm still in a headspace. I'm still in the parent headspace of let's go and do this. And then I get the answer, oh, look, Mum, I'm actually going to go with my mates. So yeah. I'm learning to have the conversation with my near 19-year-old and my 16-year-old around whatever activity I think would be great. Yeah. So I have to have that conversation. Whereas when they were younger, it was just, you're just coming along with me.
So does that mean that, for the first time in a long time, you might get a chance to have some plans of your own in the holiday period?
Oh, yes, to a degree. Although I am actually going away this year for a period of time, and I am taking them with me. They're coming with me. But the rest of the holidays, Nikki's birthday is in the school, is in the holidays. It's Christmas time. Yep. And for those of you who have, your birthdays around the Christmas period, I hear it's not a great time to have your birthday because all your mates are away. But look, do you know what's great about that is that you get to celebrate your birthday at a different time of the year. And I always find that it might be easier to celebrate your birthday, at the end of the January period, maybe end of January, beginning of February. And that way everyone's back. Everyone's had their holidays. They're back at school, they're back at work. We're back into a bit of a routine. And that's actually a really good time to celebrate, a belated birthday. We found that worked really well. Yeah.
My wife's is actually on Christmas Day.
Yes.
And as she always tells me, because my birthday's in May, she says, I've never, ever had to work on my birthday.
I love it. Oh, that's a great attitude. Because you never had, that's great. I love it. And you know what? For, say, my mother outlaw, her birthday is the 26th of December.
Yeah.
And she doesn't even try. She's like, I'm not even going to try. We've got family. We've done a whole lot of family things on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Not even going to try. Mother's Day is a great day to celebrate my birthday. So that's her thing.
Boxing Day is shopping and leftovers, isn't it?
Yeah. Or sleeping even.
And that too, yes, absolutely.
Or even sleeping.
Look, Alison, we can't really finish without asking that question that really puts you on the spot, and that is, do you have a particular New Year's resolution picked out for the coming year?
Look, no.
Oh, okay.
Having said that, though, I know you don't like that answer.
I think you might be ducking the issue a little bit.
So I've thought about what's missing for me in business. Yep. All right. So my resolution is actually focusing on something around my business instead of, because I already look after my health. It is already a priority. I already do that really well with the services and the specialists I have around me. So I know I do that well. I don't have to make a resolution about health. I know I don't have to make a resolution about making sure that somewhere in the year I'm taking time off. And taking my head away from work and because I know that in the week there's something that I do with my boys or myself, and I know that every few months there's something booked in to spend time with them and be away from the home. I don't need to do that. So what I'm actually focusing on is something for my business. And if you're in business, you're always, or you should be, working out, what do I need to do better?
Yeah.
What did I do this last year that went really well and keep doing for next year? And then what's missing? What did I not do? What do I learn from? And for me, in business, you're supposed to know your numbers.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't. So I've made a decision that next year I'm going to get right out of my comfort zone and focus on numbers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's a great idea. It's a good thought.
That usually helps.
It does. It does. Absolutely. And look, I'm hearing it from business owners and through, BNI podcasts and things like that. Know your numbers. And I've avoided it for a long time, and I need to pull my finger out and know my numbers. So I'm going to get right. So I'm going to be uncomfortable, and I will need to kick up the bum.
Yep.
I will need it, and I'll get it, and I'll do some numbers. There you go. That's my New Year's resolution. Carl? What's yours?
What's mine? So one of the things this year was Kim and I went on a 4-day road trip. Just had a bit of a couple of experiences, and the commitment is to at least do 2 of those in the coming year. So aside from any other normal getaways or whatever, but just for the 2 of us to do 2 road trips.
I love it. Okay, so when are you doing those?
One will be in February, and one will probably be in the late September, early October period, just coming into spring.
Yeah, great. And are they in Victoria, or are they somewhere else in Australia?
Anywhere we decide to go. Last year it was Adelaide and the Barossa Valley.
Beautiful.
So love to do Perth. That could be more than just a 4-day road trip, though.
Yeah. You need a bit more time.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. That's great. I love it. Yeah. Love the road trips. Good. So you got to book them in, though, Carl. You have to book them in.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Yeah. And that is part of the resolution, isn't it? Taking those actions so that it's not just words. So look, Alison, one of the things I would like to take a moment and thank you for your work on the Champion Chat this year and continuing to be that conduit from council to the community. I think that we've helped get a lot of clarity out into the community about things that are happening. I think you've also been a voice for the community, and I think that's been really good. And I think we've had some great podcasts and some really interesting guests that you've introduced to the Banyule community this year, like people like Maureen and even some of the other councillors when we've had our fun discussion about renewable energy, and that still one of my favourites with Councillor Tom and Councillor Peter.
Yeah, they're enjoyable.
They were. What do you feel was your favourite podcast or topic that we covered this year?
I don't have a favourite. As you say, this podcast is a really good opportunity to connect our communities with events, people, causes, etc. And that's what I love, and that's the point of it. So I appreciate you for giving the idea, creating the idea, and encouraging me to come on board and go. It is actually a really good thing. And as I said, what has come from it is no other local councillor does this. So I feel privileged and inspired that this actually is making a difference. And that's the point, a positive difference. So I don't have a favourite. What I would like to do, there are 2 things that I would like to do on this podcast for this particular month. Firstly, I'd like to thank all our visitors, our guests who contributed to the podcasts. It is their time and it is their knowledge and expertise that they share, not only with us, but also with our community and beyond who are listening and watching. So I really appreciate their participation, their input and their contribution.
And their passion they brought to it, I think.
And their passion, absolutely. That is paramount. I have learnt also this year there, every now and then I'm in conversation, obviously, with a lot of people, and I get, my mum was listening to one of your podcasts the other day. Or, oh, I had to listen to your podcast the other day. That was really good. And it never occurred to me that these people would be listening or watching. So I learn as we go on week to week, I learn that someone I don't know, didn't expect, has been listening to the podcasts. And they may not react online. They may not do any of that. And the only reason I know that they're listening or watching is because someone in their network has told me.
Okay.
So I really appreciate them listening and watching. So I thank them. I thank the very quiet ones in the background. I appreciate those who have reacted. So they've liked or they've loved, or you know what? They've gotten angry. They're upset. I appreciate all of those people, all of the community and beyond, for reacting. You know what? I don't know if they've been watching or listening. I don't. But I can only guess that maybe they have. Maybe they got partway through a podcast and went, I can't stand this anymore. Or they did watch it all because they thought, what are we going to say next? What else am I going to hear?
And look, it's fantastic that whether it's a response of anger or pointing out something, the great thing is they're taking advantage. This is a two-way conversation. Okay, so absolutely, if people aren't actually engaging on this, you don't get to hear and get to make that change that they're looking for. So it's great when people take that time to give you that feedback.
Absolutely. You know, and I am very aware that there are members of our community who disagree with us. Points, when I say us, I mean the points that are being made. I know there are people who disagree with things about climate change, and they're angry about FOGO. I know that. And then there are those who love both and believe in both and contribute to both. So we've got both sides of the spectrum and everybody else in between.
Yes.
So simply we're just presenting to our community, this is what's going on. And that's important more than anything. What I wanted to mention, so we've just talked a little bit about FOGO and climate change. I've noticed, and obviously I bring this to you, Carl, there are people who have conversations with me and go, oh, Alison, I'm waiting for this. Where's the follow-up for this? Or why don't you do this? So some of our podcasts this year in 2022 have actually been inspired by members of our community and networks who've said, why don't you do this? And I'd like that to be welcomed. If we can ask, if people can see that, oh, we would really like to hear more about X, let us know.
Absolutely.
Let us know. Send me a text, send me an email, give me a call. We'd like to know more about X. Where, you know, I know you and I will go ahead and we'll create that. We'll create that for those who are requesting it, if it's certainly relevant to our community and provides a bit more education or information for our community.
Even to the point where they may wish to be part of the podcast because they have something that's important for people to know about.
Look, that is absolutely significant. Anyone who's part of the community who really wants to share something they're passionate about that contributes to the community, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And you know, that's where one of our last sporting podcasts came from. One of our residents went, oh, Alison, if you want to do something on our local sport, I'm happy to contribute. Oh, that's a great idea for a podcast. Let's do that. But a couple of ideas that have come over the last few months there are two. One is the urban food strategy. So I know that you and I have talked about this over the year. We've been talking about this. I've mentioned this to a couple of my fellow councillors, and I believe that we're at a point now where next year, 2023, urban food strategy is going to be a massive conversation, and we are going to have a lot of people come on board for this, because the concept of growing your own food hasn't died. It's diminished a bit over the generations, but it hasn't died, and it needs to be invigorated and sort of reborn, if you like.
Well, and there's also other things out there now where there's people taking the initiative of going to produce makers who've had their produce rejected by supermarkets because it's not the right colour, it's not the right shape. Nothing wrong with the food, it just doesn't match a colour, and so there's food out there, and they're saying, well, okay, we're going to take that food that is being rejected and provide a more viable alternative for people who are struggling to put food on the table.
Yep. There's that. And there's also the culture of food is not just grow something and eat it. You know, it is a community event. So the urban food strategy actually encourages food to be the center of community and connection, which is what, you know, a lot of our non-Anglo-Saxon immigrants bring. You know, our European, our Asian bring that. Food is around family. And family could be anyone. Yeah.
Let's save our powder for that one. I think that could be a fantastic topic.
That will be a fantastic topic. Might even cover 2 podcasts at the rate we're going. So in line with that, so FOGO also being introduced this year, I was actually inspired by one of our senior officers, and he said to me, oh, Alison, where's your follow-up? I want your follow-up podcast. You know, we're a Bazza and Dazza. So I go, okay, great. We'll work on it. So I'm starting to think, okay, FOGO in Banyule, 12 months on. We're actually only 6 months in December. Yeah. So I'm thinking maybe 12 months on, we could do a follow-up.
We'll just have to make sure Bazza and Dazza are available.
We do, don't we? Yeah, yeah. So we'll see what we can do. So really, I really do want to thank everyone for contributing to this podcast. So, you know, there's yourself, Carl, who's you know, inspired me to create it, and working on it together with you has been brilliant. And just watching its growth and its interest, and watching people who've come in and left, and the reactions that are created, and the inspiration that we've provided for so many people. So we love that, and I really wanted to make sure that everyone was thanked.
Wonderful. Well, let's and we'll go to that next level next year, hopefully.
Yeah, that's the plan. Yeah, that's the plan.
Well, look, to wrap up, I would like to wish you, Alison, and everyone who's been listening to the Champion Chat podcast this year, a safe and happy holiday period. I look forward to having you all join us on the Champion Chat in 2023, where we will be discussing some of the topics we just talked about then, but even more on topics that cover social, local government and community topics. And remember, if there is something you would like us to have us discuss, as we've just said, please let us know in the comments. Alison and myself would love to hear from you.
Absolutely. So thank you very much, Carl. Thank you, everyone, for listening and contributing in the 2022. Have a beautiful celebration, however you celebrate, with the people you love, whoever they may be. And we look forward to presenting again to you in 2023 all the topics that we come up with and create, and that you can help us create.
Fantastic. Thank you, Alison, and thank you, everyone else. Have a wonderful holiday.